What's the value of subprime under stress right now? $300 billion. When I take you through that path, now the $300 billion you see in context, it's a large number, but leveraged against a $20 trillion asset, you can see. We estimate right now, if you talk to the Fed, that roughly 3% of loans, mortgages, are in jeopardy, which is a huge problem for several key money center banks. But remember, that means 97% are fully serviced. Now let's look at the human side of this problem. $300 billion in subprime loans are in stress. That's 1.8 million American families. So what has been done in the past? Have we ever seen this before? Well, I just told you in 2008, 3% of loans are under stress. In 1934, 50% of families could not pay their mortgage. And what did the U.S. government do in that case? What the U.S. government did, and remember, and for those of you in real estate, Denise just you're celebrating her first year in real estate. For those of you in real estate, you know that during a downturn, panic causes almost 3 times more damage to the value of an asset, more than any inherent reduction in the value. When we look at the response in 1934, the federal government created the Home Ownership Loan Corporation. And what the Home Ownership Loan Corporation did is it said to the banks, look, you could foreclose on the Jones family. You can foreclose on them right now. You will throw this family out of their home. You will take control of an asset that we will have to board up because no one can afford to live there. And the value of that asset will be 0. So you take 100% hit. Make too many of those decisions and you go away too. On the other hand, we could step in as the Home Ownership Loan Corporation, and using a complicated formula, but the bottom line is, we'll basically offer you 80% of the mortgage value so that you can get out. You take a 20% hit, which is a huge hit. And then we take that 80% loan that's been restructured and re-offer it to the Jones family. We've reduced your rate, we've set a new payment schedule to allow you to stay in your home. There's a couple of critical things that happen. First of all, the Smith family next door doesn't want a boarded up wreck full of rats that also depresses the value of their home. Secondly, the Jones family not only keeps their dignity, but for the town of Smallville, they continue to be taxpayers and continue to pay in, which is extremely important for local vendors, the town to support local schools and police. The key to the Home Ownership Loan Corporation is they were allowed to buy mortgages only for 3 years, right during the panic, 34, 35, and 36. December 31st, 1936, they were blocked from entering any more mortgage transactions. And then they had a portfolio, and in the end, they owned about 20% of the mortgages in the United States. They then managed those, and yeah, for some people, they did foreclose on some people. But for millions of families, they stayed in their home with the restructuring. Obviously, the local banks, most of them made the right decision, and instead of taking 100% loss, took an 80% or took a 20% loss. And the beauty of this, I'll speak now as a Republican, and the beauty of this is, in 1954, they walked into President Eisenhower's office, gave him a check for the entire capital they were given plus a profit, and closed their doors. Panic over. I think that something on that basis could really help. You know, obviously there's some reduction in value, etc., but you want to eliminate what I would call the panic premium that causes so much pain, and imagine what a neighborhood looks like if you go from one house that's on the market to 15 with a lot boarded up. That's just terrible. And you know, Jeff Harger's here. Just imagine what that does to our tax base if we let that family go. The Congress has passed legislation to do that. It was one of the first really bipartisan things we did. We didn't go fully for the homeowner